on, they will get the replay, as well as you guys who are attending today. So if you missed anything, you'll be able to get the replay, but I have some great information for you, great content. You're going to be pleasantly surprised of how well you can learn from just the information itself and how it will start up leveling you in your life, in your business. So we'll go ahead and get the slides up here so that you can, whoops, I'll share first. All right, here we go. Okay, so as Blanca said, I am a business and life coach, and I've been working with individuals not only in this setting of speaking and presenting, but I also, prior to that, have a resume. Every decade I like to up level, and the little girl up there in the left corner is little 10-year-old Melissa, who went by Missy and was the farm girl who sold stationery up and down the country road, stationery, wrapping paper, and note cards. So I was an entrepreneur before I even knew what that word was, let alone spell it. Still struggle with that. But each decade, like I said, I've leveled up. I married my high school sweetheart. We have 2 adult boys. I have a granddaughter and a grandson on the way. When I turned 30 was my plot twist in life. I was ready to just end my marriage. There had to be something better. My unhappiness was because of my husband, right? Because, you know, you got to blame someone, not yourself. But it was really, I was seeking more, and that was to get my high school teaching degree. I'd already been working in the school setting. And so I got my degree, became an IT teacher at the high school level, loved it until an opportunity came up for my husband and I to go in as a partner in a public golf course. And so 3 years after that, we actually bought a second golf course, and I quit my teaching after a very short time. And we owned and operated those golf courses for 12 years until it became a little struggle for the economy and for those who were playing. And we opted to sell out of the business. And now this is what I do full time, is helping individuals with their life, their business, because how you do one thing, how you do all things, and how you're showing up for yourself and others is really important. And you didn't come here just to play small, you came here to play big. So if I can offer any support and guidance, I hope that you will find the value in that today. Through all of this experience, I also have become a published author in collaborations, as well as writing my own book on 5 Steps to Your Own Drive, which is available on my website. And I also publish the Cincy Chic Women's Digital Magazine article every week, and have been doing that for 3 years. So that's a little bit about me, but that's not what you're here for. You're here to learn about how you can scale your mind, money, and momentum. And I would like for you just to put in the chat, I'm curious to know what resonated about that title for you. What are you looking for? What's your struggle right now? What are you finding that you need support around? Because you said yes to this opportunity because something resonated. So if you don't mind, put that in the chat. I would love to know more about you and why you showed up today. When we talk about scaling, scale, most of the time people, it's like leveraging, moving up, getting ahead. And that's what we're all trying to do, right? Ever since, you know, we started this journey in life, we always want to move ahead, go up, leverage what we have. And there are 4 things that I know when we're scaling are required. And the first one is discipline. Without discipline, we just kind of go day to day, you know, everything's just normal, nothing exciting, nothing to, you know, moving us to do anything. And that's where you get stagnant. That's where you start just becoming stale in a sense. And so without discipline, it can be a challenge, whether it's, you know, a health and fitness regimen or saving money, those kind of things. When you're scaling, getting ahead, getting higher, it's about the discipline. The other part of that is about support, and having support during your time of scaling is really important, because we can do things on our own, but it is always better when you can have someone who's already been there, done that, or somebody who has a skill set that they can maybe see past your blind spots and be able to help you really navigate in a way that you can get there quicker. And then accountability, showing up for yourself is one thing, but it's always best when someone can be holding you accountable, and not in a way that makes you feel like you're doing wrong or bad if you're not doing the thing. It's really about the accountability of making sure each day you're moving forward toward your goal, towards your desire, towards the amount of money you want to save. And I created an accountability program for clients. Every day we talk for 10 minutes at the same time for them to really level up and leverage what they want to create. And it has really been a game changer, because they have someone to say, I did this yesterday, this felt good, this didn't feel good, this is my intention today. they get started, they start their day. And it has been, a lot of the individuals have just really created even more than they expected through that accountability. And the fourth one, when you're scaling, is finding that balance. So we can go all in on things, and sometimes it burns us out pretty quick. We're going to talk about burnout a little bit later, but the balance is key. It's really when you're scaling, it's kind of that theory of, I want to lose 50 pounds. So if I get up tomorrow and eat a salad, I should lose 50 pounds. Like, we know that's not possible. And it's going to take time to be able to get ourselves positioned so that each level we go up a notch, we go up a notch, we go up a notch. And so the balance is key. If you need to take a break, if you need to reset or refocus. So that's what I mean about scale. So we're talking about, first, when we scale, how does scaling mind, money, and momentum have to do with anything? And basically they all work together. And that was an awareness that I didn't recognize till later on, as I was doing my own life's work, and, owning and operating golf courses was probably the real understanding about mind, money, and momentum, is because there's these underlying beliefs sometimes, or conditions, that keep us from being successful and being able to scale. And that's where, if one's not working, the other's not working either, or one might be working and the other isn't. And anytime we can bring them together, and again, this isn't just about mind or just about money, it's your mind and relationships, finance, health, wellness. You can put any word in there, but a lot of times money is always the operative word that people want to know more about. So mind, or mindset, is what we're going to talk about first. And the question you want to ask yourself is, how am I fueling my mind? What am I putting into my thoughts? What am I taking in or absorbing? And for a lot of us, that programming's already happened. It's happened from past experiences. It's happened from what people have told you, what you have come to believe that someone has said is truth. But it's really thinking about, are those past experiences or stories that you've been told, are they really serving you today? And most of the time they're not. And it also builds upon opinions of others. When other people put their opinions on you, so let's say you want to start your own business, and everyone around you saying, I don't know why people would ever want to start their own business, they're crazy, and then you're going to shrink and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to start my own business because all these other opinions say that it's not a good idea, or I wouldn't make it, or I wouldn't be successful. And so we've got to learn, does that fuel my mind, or does that really shrink it in a way that I'm limiting myself from really going after what I want? And that's where you have to start trusting. Trust in your own decisions, trust in your intuition, trust that gut instinct. We all have it. We just forget about it. We get up here in our head and we get the monkey mind, and monkeys are jumping around telling us everything. And that's where you can let that go and just trust what you know to be true, what feels good for you, so that your mind can conspire and work on your behalf to really bring you into where you want to go. And so when you think about it, if I'm getting to go up there, like reaching the next level, scaling up, and I'm down here, it's going to be a struggle if I don't understand how this all works. I can't be the same person that I am today if I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I'm going to be different. I'm going to do things different. Or if I'm changing careers, I'm not going to do the same skill set necessarily that I did at one job that I'm going to take into the next job. There's always that up leveling, that scale. So when you look at this image, think about it. None of us are who we once were. We're not who we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, heck, even 5 minutes ago, we might be a different person. But the whole thing is about, don't allow yourself to get stuck, because when you do that, you're not able to scale. It's just being able to create more for yourself, in the understanding that I want to change some of my habits. I want to change some of the ways I do things so that I can do better and achieve those goals that I'm striving for. And I'm going to teach you how to do some of that. But we're beginning first with the unconscious language. When we start doubting ourselves and saying things about ourselves that's not true, I'm too ugly, I'm too fat, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the money, I don't have the means, I don't get the lucky breaks. Like, all of that is negative. I should have done this, I could have done that, if only. That's what I call unconscious language. You're just saying things that you've heard over time. What if you could change that and put it in a more positive, knowing I am enough, I can do all things, I am great. Anything that I try to do, I do well. Like, just giving yourself permission, because the word should is used often enough that we all hear it. And there's a joke about, if you start shoulding, you're shoulding all over the place and nothing ever gets done. So be aware of that as you're saying things. Is it in a negative vibration, a lower energy, or is it on the higher one that's going to take you to that next level? The other thing is those limiting beliefs. Man, I hate those limiting beliefs that make me think just because something didn't work before, it's not going to work this time around. Think of all the millionaires and billionaires that are out there. They all have a story where their success took time and time again, and they lost businesses and they lost money and they got wrapped up in drugs, or, all the stories that are there was unblocking some of those limiting beliefs because they believed it to be true or witnessed it in others. So ask yourself, how am I using limiting beliefs to keep me stuck and stalled? There's people that stay in companies for 25, 30, 40 years because the belief is you stay there till you retire. And we all know things have changed, and that's not what most people are doing now. They're just finding, where can I be happy? What job can I do? What is my own business I can create so that I don't have to stay in this belief that I got to stay here till I retire. And lastly, the lack of clarity and focus. Sometimes we can't get there from here because we don't even know what it is we want. We know we want something better. We know we want something more. Just like if you ask yourself, I want more money, do you even put an amount on that? Because if I say, I'm going to write you a check, Sally, how much money would you like? You need to know that number. You want to be able to say, I need $10,000, and not hesitate thinking that it's too much or not enough. It's what you feel good about. And that's where the clarity and focus is, getting yourself to really identify, what is it that I want? I encourage my clients, and I do it myself, is the visualization. In order to get there, in order to scale your mind and your money and gain that momentum, is getting a clear vision of what that looks like once you arrive. So think about when you were in school, when you were younger, and you couldn't wait to get your driver's license. I mean, you were just thirsty to be able to drive a car because you knew that was going to give you freedom, and you could see it when you rode with people in the car. You imagined yourself behind the steering wheel and doing all the things. Or what about graduation? You couldn't wait to graduate. You knew it was so close, and what would come next? Would it be college? Would it be marriage? Would it be a career? What would it look like? Or moving? Like, all of that was running constantly in our minds because we had young minds then. We didn't have all that programming up until that point like we do now. As we have aged and gotten older, we get more and more information. So find a way for you to get really clear and create a vision so big that you want to jump out of bed in the morning and start your day. And it takes time and practice, and of course with some support and discipline and accountability, you will definitely be able to start seeing it. You can use a vision board like this gal's holding here in this picture. You can just use words. You can put it on your phone. You can just have pictures. Post-it notes can even bring a vision to life. But don't forget what it looks like, and know every day you're going to work toward creating that vision of what it is that you truly desire. So then the universe, the cosmic kitchen, I call it, can conspire on your behalf and start showing up with opportunities for you to really learn to scale your mind, money, and momentum. All right. Do we have any questions up at this point? I'm happy if you have anything that you want to add in the chat. Be sure to do so. I know I move quick, but I value your time, and I know information like this is rapid fire, but to me, this is the best way to learn. And then, like I said, you'll have the replay, so you'll be able to go back and hear the information again. So let's talk about money. What are these money stories that Melissa is talking about? I don't have money stories, but maybe you do. Because oftentimes when we talk about money, well, actually, we don't talk about money, right? We don't talk about our salaries. We don't talk about, what we made on a project. I think the younger generation tends to speak more about their income. But right now, it's, what is our relationship with our money? Is it, I don't have enough? I wished I made more. I wished I hadn't invested in that. That was a poor way to spend my money. So it's thinking about what relationship you have with your own money, and then the perception of that. Sometimes the perception can be that someone who's out buying cars and houses and taking vacations, we create a perspective around that of like, well, they must be so far in debt, because that may be the story that you know about money. Or someone else may say, gosh, they're doing so good in their business. Look at all that great stuff that they have. So see the two different perspectives. You want to be aware of where you're thinking about others or about money in this case. And so if I'm going to think more like, wow, their business is doing great, they're buying all these things, doing all those things, that can be me. Then that's what you want to move toward. That feels good. That's a higher vibration. But if I'm going, wow, they must be really far in debt. I don't know how they're ever going to get out of that. Look at all that stuff they're buying. Who do they think they are, trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? You've heard these kind of things. That's a low vibration. That's forcing negative on your own self because you're in looking at them with this judgment or this perspective that's not even true. So think about that when you think about your money, and then the energy around money. If I'm sending money out into the universe, I want to be excited. I have money to pay for things. I can pay for my utilities. I can pay for my home. I can eat out dinner. I can leave a tip. Like all of that should feel good and not like, oh my gosh, I have this huge electric bill. How am I ever going to pay it? I cannot believe that it's that much. Like that's energy. That's low energy. Well, thank you, utility company, for giving me the electricity before I even paid for it. See, that's all in that positive mindset. It's all in how you perceive it. And I've been working on this for a lot of years, at least a decade now, because I didn't grow up with the most positive person or individuals, parents in my life. And so I had to rewire a lot of my own beliefs because I was negative Nancy 100%. Now I try to be more positive and see the positive side of things. And I know it all starts with that energy, that feeling good, that raising your vibration. So let's look at some of these money stories. I shared a few with you on the last slide, but these are some of the most common ones. There's never enough. Wow, don't we feel that? We feel that so often, especially like around the holidays or an unexpected expense shows up. It always just feels like, gosh, if I only had more, if I only had more. But here's the thing, make sure if you want more, with more money comes more responsibilities, right? Comes more opportunities also. So instead of thinking there's lack, there's never enough, you just change it. There's more than enough. I can never get ahead. Yep, that's it. That's we're always trying to get ahead. But where are you trying to get ahead to? You've got to know. Are you trying to be debt free, 100% debt free? Well, let me tell you, you'll never be 100% debt free because you're still going to pay for your cell phone. You're still going to pay for your utilities, and you're still going to pay for water and sewer. Like that can be looked at as a debt. But you could pay your house off and your car off and take your vacations without using a credit card and paying off the credit cards. So instead of I never get ahead, it's just one day at a time. You're working toward getting ahead. I'm always getting ahead. And how about once I spend it, it's gone? You're too smart for that. You know how to make money. You've made the money that you have right now. So if you put the money out into the universe with a positive, excited motivation drive behind it, knowing that it's going to come back tenfold or it's going to come back in unexpected ways. This is how I don't spend it and it's gone. It's like I can spend my money knowing what I'm spending it on and it'll come back to me. I get distracted by shiny objects. I'll tell you what, during the shutdown and the pandemic, Amazon went through the roof, didn't it? Everybody had access to the Amazon and they were buying stuff, that shiny object. It still happens today to me. I'll be scrolling Facebook and it'll show me items I didn't even know I needed, but I'm going to buy it. So again, I get distracted by this shiny objects. It's taking a moment to say, is this where I want my money to go? Or do I have it positioned to go for something else? So just be aware of that with your money and your distractions. And then I don't know where my money goes. So many of us find it almost scary to look at a bank account or look at a bill. Being able to have a relationship with your money. And I had to overcome this because I never used a budget. I didn't pay attention to where my money was going. I just opened up the bank statement and would cringe. And now as I've gotten older, I'm doing more of the adult responsibilities when it comes to money. And, even hiring someone to help us with our money and our investments and what retirement looks like, because that's the thing. When you start seeing the money coming in and going out, it's a better relationship than feeling like the money's always going out and not knowing where it's going. So having that opportunity now with checking and savings accounts, you can pull it up on your phone, you can see all the transactions, you can stay in actual time of your money, and that's so important. So if you've ever feared about getting into your money and really seeing it and watching it either deplete or increase, like take time to do that. I'm sure Abbey Credit Union has resources for you too, to be able to help you with money management and investments and things like that as well. She had mentioned before we got started also about loan consolidations and loan refinancing. So again, that's just knowing your money. Become friends with your money, because where you're friends with your money, it will grow. All right, so money mantras. This was something that I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. How can I, talk about money as if when I don't have it or I need more? And money is the means of having more choices. And that to me, like I said earlier, was, with more money comes more responsibilities. And it really is. If you're going to go from an income of 50,000 to 100,000, you've got more money, but the responsibility is, what choices do I make now? And that's where you can just really create more goodness about your money. Money is drawn to me and I draw to it. Like, be that money magnet. And like I said, money goes out, money comes in. What about money comes to me easily and effortlessly? This was one of the mantras, and I'll show you this other mantra that I got years ago. But could money really come to me easily and effortlessly? It sure can, when you're not over here complaining about not having enough of it. So releasing that old story, that limiting belief that it's hard to make money, money's never available, I don't ever have enough, is money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I'm drawn to it, it's drawn to me. And my perspective on opportunities that I am perceptive of opportunities that will make me more money. So know where those investment dollars are going to go. Know how to put it in an account and draw interest on it. Know how to make it grow. And you're only going to know that by asking the questions and finding those who can support you. And I'm able to handle money. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I just waste money and I just, the shiny objects, like I was saying, but you can handle the money. So these are just 4 quick little mantras that you can use. Put them on Post-it notes, put it on your checkbook, put it on your phone, but just start building that relationship with your money, because your mind and your money will help you then grow quicker. So here's the mantra that I learned from the Big Leap. Back in 2011, I was introduced to this book about conquering your hidden fears, taking life to the next level. And we had been a few years into owning the second golf course. And so the mantra in that book that I have said every time since is, huge sums of money come to me rapidly, abundantly, and effortlessly. My talent, product, and services are always in great demand. And anytime I feel like there's lack, anytime I'm doing a launch, anytime I'm, doing the things that I know are going to generate income for me, this is the mantra. And when I'm not doing those things and the money's not coming in, this is the mantra. This is my go-to every time, but I highly recommend that book as well. So when you think about stepping outside of your comfort zone with the mind and the money to gain the momentum, it's about the comfort zone of exploring what's possible for you. Just like today in this seminar, you are exploring possibilities of how you can learn more, how you can do better, how you can scale your mind, money, and momentum. And I like to look at it as a seed. When you plant it in the ground, it doesn't mean that the seed's not going to grow. But if you keep digging it up and keep questioning whether it's going to grow or not, it won't. And from experience, just looking when the farmers plant their fields and stuff, the seeds will become plants. We just have to water them and nurture them and give them what they need to grow. But it really starts with that belief. I trust that when that seed hits the ground, something will happen. Something good will happen when I do that, and more will come. And so that's growing your faith, your belief, letting go of the old stories and creating new ones. So take that as evidence that you're right where you need to be. You're planting seeds right in this moment. And when we start bringing this all together, the momentum is what moves us even further and faster. It's about building upon your successes. I encourage my clients and others to just write evidence down. Show the evidence that things are working in your favor. Don't be dwelling on what's not working out for you, but what is working in your favor. And even if it's a penny on the ground or a feather falls from the sky, something's happening. You are noticing things around you, and that's in that moment. You're grounded in that moment. So be aware of the things that are showing up for you, the out of the blue things that you didn't know, because that's giving you the evidence that you are moving in the right direction. As Abraham Hicks says, you're tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. And that's how you create a more abundant, prosperous life. And you can live your life by design like that. But the lack of momentum usually indicates burnout. It's a real thing. And I wanted to make sure that we talked about that in the sense that it has taken many of us who once were passionate about their careers and life to a whole new level. And unfortunately, that's been through the pandemic. And if anything, I definitely see it in the medical field. We all have seen it in the medical field. But burnout is it's a real thing. And when you get to that point, it's hard to keep the momentum up. It's hard to find the balance. And I found this great diagram just to give you an overview of those 5 stages of burnout and see where you might fit in this. We start over here in the left side where the honeymoon stage is. It feels fresh. The game, you're fresh to the game. You're excited. All is well. Then you start the balancing act where your energy starts to fall away and you notice that there's parts of your job you just don't like anymore. There's parts of what you're doing. Then the chronic symptoms will show up. You feel like you're running on empty tank all the time. You might start noticing you're feeling bad. You might have conditions that you didn't have before. You're tired. You're hurting yourself. You're breaking bones, like things like that. Chronic symptoms, or could just be a migraine that you noticed that you didn't have before. And then the crisis stage is when that emotionally you cannot deal with the stress and you really start to break down. Missing work, getting sick, all of those things. That's when you need to really find a way out of it so that you don't really do what happens next is the trap where you develop the severe chronic long-term physical and mental illnesses. And so many of individuals today we know are in that place of being trapped. So momentum comes with being aware of what you feel, how you feel, and what's going on with you internally. So avoid those stages of burnout because it is a real thing. When you start to create your self-development plan, what you're really looking to do in order to gain your momentum and scale your money and mindset is rewiring programming from the past. So we talked about that at the beginning is what am I thinking? What do I believe to be true? And I need to rewire that. If that no longer serves me as fact and I want to create a new fact, and you don't have to tell others, you just start internally working with you. And then once you can reprogram it, then you decide that truth for you. This is true for me. I believe I can make as much money as I truly desire. I believe I can open that business. I believe I can find a relationship that has the love and support I need. I know I can transform my body vessel into a healthy, more vibrant individual. And then create that story, create it through the visualization, create it through speaking as if, know that it's on its way for you. You've put your order into the cosmic kitchen. The universe is conspiring on your behalf. You know that you can create whatever it is you truly desire because you've created everything up to this point. Everything in your house, the car you drive, the job you have, the money in your bank account, you did all that. That's all on you. And guess what? You get to do it even more. And you get to decide, since meeting here today in the seminar, how am I going to do it? Am I going to do it the same? Am I good with it? Is there just some tweaks and things that I can do? Or am I going to scrap the whole thing and start over? Am I going to call in the help, the support, get the guidance that I need? You get to decide. And we forget that. We get on autopilot. We get up, we go to work, we come home, we watch TV, we eat dinner, we go to bed, start all over again. Groundhog's Day. The weekends come, we're weekend warriors. We try to do anything and everything that we didn't get to do through the week, and then we're exhausted. So it's finding that balance, but creating your own self-development plan and how you're going to get there. One of the things I would recommend that has helped a lot of individuals, including myself, is what I call the brain hack. And the best way to get started is take a piece of paper, notebook, journal. You can use transcribing equipment on your computer, like Microsoft Word has dictation on there. You can use a recorder on your phone, whatever feels comfortable to you. But you want to get down as much of the old stories or what you believe to be true up till today into that piece of paper, into that out into the universe, out loud. No one has to hear it. It's all for you. But you're going to talk about those past experiences, how things didn't work out, how things did work out. You can even put that in there. What opinions of others that you're hearing that you believe and don't believe. And then what are those limiting beliefs? For me, this brain dump, it gives an opportunity to then, once all of it's out, it's almost like when you have an argument with someone, once you yell everything out and word vomit all over them, you then start thinking differently. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. And I should have said this. And I wished I hadn't acted that way. And I wished I would have done that. Like, that's what we're doing. We're just getting it all out so we can have a clean palate, so we can have a clean mind, so we can start from there. So if all of that is released, then I can start with a new pattern, a new way of developing, a new way of creating my future moving forward. So I ask you just to keep the faith in yourself and trust the process, because when the timing is right for you, it will all come together. And I think trust and faith and belief is one of the tools that we don't practice enough. And I think moving forward, I hope that you'll find, like, up until now, maybe you didn't believe or trust or think things were going to happen in a way that you wanted it to, but they really can. It's just reprogramming that mind, changing that mindset. And I know to be true that when that desire you have becomes stronger than any excuse that you can give it, you're going to thrive. There's no reason that you won't. Don't let those excuses get in the way of what you truly deserve, what you are here to do, why you want to play big and not small anymore. Get really clear on those desires. What is it that you want? And when those excuses creep up, ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this true? Is this going to keep me from getting to where I want? And debunk them so that those excuses can just go to the wayside and you can get focused back on that vision of where you're going and why you're going there. And I saw this quote about chess and checkers, and it's not going to be easy because this is no longer checkers, my friends. This is chess. And if anything, you know about chess, it's a hard game to play, and it's always 3 or 4 steps ahead. Checkers is too, but chess to me has a much deeper thought process and what steps you take and actions that you take to get to that end result. And in this case, to win the game. So keep that in mind as well. And then I'll leave you with this last thing. I want you to remember, regardless of what I said today or what you know to be true or what you don't know to be true, knowing that you are enough. So many of us feel like we're not enough. We try to do all things and we just can't fulfill that order, but you are enough in every day of what you do. This mantra came from Louise Hay, and I've used it for decades now. And I use it in any time I'm feeling like I'm not in alignment or I'm stressed or I'm just all over the place. But it goes like this: all is well. Out of any situation, good will come. Everything is working out in my highest and best good. I am safe. Now you can just take a piece of that says everything's working out to my highest and best good. Or you can say out of any situation, good will come. Or you can say all is well. Or I am safe. And even in any situation, it's looking for the good. You're finding the goodness in it. I know there's horrible situations. I know our lives get disrupted. I know things happen. There's loss. There's misfortune. There's all of that going on around us. But when you go internally and can ground yourself like this woman is on her sofa here, knowing that you are enough and that out of any situation, good will come, you start changing the vibration. You start changing that energy, raising yourself up so that you're not lost in all of the heaviness of what's not working out for you. Because out of the darkness to get into the light is about finding the light, seeking the light. And there's individuals and things out there that can help you do that. And I would be happy to have a conversation with you beyond this delivery of this message. I have more free training at the Success in Business and Life Facebook group. So if you're interested in more of that, join there. But you also can go to melissakirkpatrickbusinesscoach.com, and that's where you find that you can schedule in my calendar for a free discovery call, and other resources and materials are there. But I appreciate your time and for joining us today. And I will now open us up for Q&A.